Okay, Shepard, glad you're back, but keep an eye on that last one. We can only hold so much crazy.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
Just wanted to get that little extra bit in there. Alright. Let's push the button. Do you want to speak to the Elusive Man about an urgent mission? You will need to use the QEC in the briefing room.
Shepard, I think we have them. Horizon, one of our colonies in the Terminus systems, just went silent. If it isn't under attack, it soon will be. Has Mordin delivered the countermeasure for the Seeker swarms?
Not yet.
Let's hope he works well under pressure. There's something else you should know. One of your former crew, Ashley Williams, she's stationed on Horizon.
What a coincidence!
The Collectors just happened to pick a colony with one of my former crew. I don't buy it.
It shouldn't be a surprise the Collectors are interested in you, especially if they're working for the Reapers. They might be going after her to get to you.
Last I knew, Ash was Alliance. Why is she out in the Terminus systems?
Officially, it's an outreach program to improve Alliance relation with the colonies, but they're up to something. And if they sent Chief Williams, it must be big. Perhaps you should take it up with her.
We should send a message to the Citadel. The Alliance can give us reinforcements.
Not until you investigate. I don't want the Alliance getting in our way. Once you have the situation under control, I'll send the message personally.
Send the coordinates. We'll head straight there.
This is the most warning we've ever had, Shepard. Good luck.
Joker, set a course for Horizon. I've got to go see the Professor.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Tell me you have something.
Yes.
I love that smile. Ash!
Lilith, we've got a problem.
Still can't calibrate the targeting matrix?
Those defense towers are useless if we don't figure it out.
Sorry, Chief. Getting our comm systems back online takes priority.
Yeah. Okay. Surprised people haven't tried to blame that one on me, too.
People out here don't trust the Alliance. It's nothing personal. What is that?
They should trust the Horde. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. These are humans who would rather join the Horde. What a shock. I'll stop.
I'll cover you. Run!
Yeah, this is creepy. By the way, if you think they are entirely frozen and, like, not seeing or feeling or aware of anything going on, watch her eyes. So yeah, they are fully aware of what's going on, which just makes us even worse. Gosh, I cannot imagine being in a situation like this, how horrifying it would be. And now, one of my favorite lines in this game.
Assuming control.
Oh, that guy is a pain to fight on higher difficulties. This mission itself is rough on higher difficulties, especially the boss that's about to fly up behind him, right there.
We are the harbinger of their perfection. Prepare these humans for ascension.
First time we officially meet Harbinger. Oh, that cutscene's a little extra slow. Anyways. But yeah, I've, there are times where, let's just say in other games where if you're playing, like, you know how an RTS is, like, say, StarCraft, for example, you're controlling units, and sometimes you, like, control a unit? There are times I've actually said, assuming control, or assuming direct control. You know, just because I love that line. So obviously we're taking Garrus for the extra dialogue. And of course the relevancy and connection with Ash. As far as who else to take, Miranda has something to kind of chime in on, but it's really kind of the same thing other people can say. I'd rather Garrus say it because it sounds like it, you know, it kind of means more coming from Garrus because, of course, he knows Ash and Ash knows him. So, let's take Zaid. We could also take Morden because, of course, he's testing, you know, this is his tech we're testing out. And Grunt is actually not a bad choice here as well to deal with collectors and such, but let's go ahead and take Zaid. I'm already having Garrus and Zaid bond together, you know, being the buddies they are, so we'll wait so we can be able to improve that. We're going to be picking up another amazing heavy weapon here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the arc projector because we're not going to be facing, you know, tech enemies here. Oh, there is the black hole gun. Like I said, we'll be switching this out for something else here, so not a big deal. We'll just go ahead and take the black hole gun. You know what? I probably should have actually swapped out my my shotgun. It's just the 3 rounds per magazine. It's just getting a little irritating. But it's not a big deal. By the way, sorry in advance if things get a little laggy here, because, well, I'm noticing a lot of grass and such. And this has been an issue for me on my machine. More grass and trees and such tends to mean more lag.
Morden, you sure those armor upgrades will protect us from the Seeker swarms?
Certainty impossible, but in limited numbers should confused detection make us invisible to swarms. In theory.
In theory? That sounds promising.
Experimental technology. Only test is contact with Seeker swarms. Look forward to seeing if you survive.
Thanks, Morden.
Switch up! Switch up!
Oh. I forgot that a tab apparently opens up the command line. Whoopsie.
Freedom, a typical terminus colony possessing minimal tourist value. Horizon promises substantial economic opportunity, especially in providing new products for humans and supplying the Turian hierarchy. Surveyed 18 years ago, Horizon received pilot habitation 4 years later. The colony proper is now 8 years old. Blessed with verdant forests and abundant fresh water, Horizon maintains a colonial culture that thrives as a refuge from the increasing restrictions of Citadel-governed society. Horizon has attracted numerous dissidents, marginal people, and fringe dwellers from across Alliance space.
Here we go. Thanks, Garrus. I didn't even see that one over there.
Collectors are disrupting communications.
We're on our own now.
Heavy weapons. Firing a high-impact shot. Scoped and drawn.
Hey, husks.
This should punch through their armor. I love this rifle.
How many more times?
Like the husks that Geth used on Eden Prime.
I thought the Geth got that technology from Sovereign.
Guess the elusive man was right. The Collector's answer to the Reapers, damn it.
I was gonna say, I wonder how many more times Garrus is gonna let us know that he loves that rifle.
This is valuable.
Thank you.
This thing looks human. The Collectors must be using the colonists for raw materials.
No. The Geth impaled their victims on giant spikes to turn them into husks. But we haven't seen any. The Collectors must have already had the husks. They want the colonists alive for something else.
These aren't the same creatures I fought on Eden Prime. They're more advanced. Evolved.
They die just like anything else.
Collectors must be experimenting on the colonists. What are they up to?
Doesn't matter. We'll stop them.
Guess we'll find out when we stop them.
The Collectors aren't getting away with more victims. Let's move out.
Let's go. All these empty buildings. It's unsettling.
Everyone's gone just like before.
And some of them are still in here. You can even see them moving inside.
To the right!
Gosh, it's horrible. Like, this whole scenario is just straight up horrifying.
Looks like some type of stasis field. Leaves victims helpless, but fully aware.
They've been like this a long time.
Like I said, absolutely terrifying. There's the weapon. Yeah, this is a pretty awesome and strong weapon. Time for our first encounter with Harbinger.
I am assuming direct control. The forces of the universe bend to me. If I must tear you apart, Shepard, I will.
Where are you, Harbinger? There you are.
Nothing stands against us.
Scratch one!
Garrus. Nope. Couldn't remember if there was an extra area up there or not.
Company. Get out here, now!
You're human. What are you doing out here? You lead them right here.
You had to hear them trying to get in. Seems like it's hard to hide from the collectors.
Those things are collectors? You mean, they're real? I thought they were just made up, you know, propaganda to keep us in Alliance space. No, they got Lilith. I saw her go down. Sten, too. They got damn near everybody.
What's your name? What do you do here?
Name's Delan. Mechanic. I came down to check on the main grid after we lost our comm signals. And I heard screaming. I looked outside and there were swarms of bugs. Everyone they touched just froze. I sealed the doors. Damn it, it's the Alliance's fault. They stationed that Chief Williams here and built those defense towers. It made us a target.
Why do you think this is the Alliance's fault?
We're just a small colony. Nobody bothered us before we started building those damn defense towers and drew attention to ourselves. I left Council space to get away from the Alliance. Nothing good ever comes from getting mixed up with them.
I'm sorry. It's just me as a Warcraft player, just hearing that, and I'm just chuckling, especially as someone who usually plays Horde, even though I do have Alliance characters. But I hear him say stuff like that, I just chuckle, because I'm sure there are Alliance mains right now that hear that, and they're just like, oh.
The Collectors are targeting remote colonies. The Alliance was trying to help.
I don't need their help. Too many strings attached. That rep said she was just here to get the towers online, but mark my words, there's more to it.
Tell me more about this Alliance rep.
Chief Williams? Heard she was some kind of hero or something. Didn't mean nothing to me, though. Would rather she just stayed back in Council space.
Any idea what she was doing on Horizon?
Supposed to be helping us get the defense towers up and running. I got the feeling she was here for something else. Spying on us, maybe.
Tell me about the colony defense towers.
A gift from the Alliance. High-powered Guardian lasers. Supposed to keep hostile ships from landing near the colony. Had to build a massive underground generator just to give it enough juice. Only we couldn't get the targeting systems online. So the Alliance gave us a giant gun that couldn't shoot straight. Stupid sons of bitches.
If you have defenses, we can use them against the Collector ship.
You'd need to calibrate the targeting system first. It's never worked right.
One of us should be able to figure it out. We just need the location.
Head for the main transmitter on the other side of the colony. Pretty hard to miss. The targeting controls are at the base.
You know this colony and the equipment. You better come with us.
Not a chance in hell.
You'd probably just get in the way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'll let you out, but I'm locking the door behind you. I'm not taking any chances. Good luck. I think you're gonna need it.
Here comes a part that I remember not liking very much.
They spotted.
Assuming control.
And it's because of that thing right there. Oh, I hate Scions. The shockwave they do hurts. Especially on higher difficulties. It hurts in general, but oh my gosh. There are certain parts of some of these missions I dread because I remember just having such a hard time with those sometimes. Ugh. It's a little cathartic when I can be able to just go ahead and just melt him down like that.
This might be useful.
I figured we'd have seen more of those frozen colonists by now.
Probably loaded onto the collector ship by now. We should hurry.
Shepard, I said we should hurry. I heard you, Garrus. But credits, Shepard. Alright, alright. Here it is. Here they come. Husks. This is another section I remember having a tough time in.
Transmitter spotted.
To go grab that.
Normandy, do you copy?
Joker here. Signal's weak, Commander, but we got you.
Edie, can you get the colony's defense towers online?
Errors in the calibration software are easily rectified, but it will take time to bring the towers to full power. I recommend a defensive posture. I will not be able to mask the increased generator output.
Let's load up. When the Collectors notice, we'll have a fight on our hands.
Got any other helpful tips?
Just one. Enemy reinforcements are closing in. I suggest you ready weapons.
Mm-hmm. Including one in particular.
Here they come.
Bypassing fail-safes and attempting emergency power-up. Please hold the defense tower.
Firing concussive shot.
This should slow him down.
Get ready. Gotta be more soon.
Oh, yeah.
Sequential power-up initiated. Guardian anti-ship batteries at 40%.
Reinforce.
Firing an impact shot.
You will not stop me. The forces of the universe.
There we
bend to
go.
me.
Firing an impact shot.
Guardian anti-ship batteries at 60%. Syncing targeting protocols to Normandy systems. Continue to protect the tower.
Don't get cocky. I bet there's more coming.
Yep, here it comes. Yeah, did you see that thing's mouth, by the way?
Edie, we need that system online.
The hell is that? Keep your distance.
Oh, I hate this thing. This right here is one of the more frustrating and toughest boss fights in the entire game, especially on higher difficulties.
Custom shot ready. Firing a high impact shot. My attack was ineffective.
Firing anti-ship batteries at collector vessel.
This should slow him down.
Ugh.
They're pulling out.
No! Don't let him get away!
There's nothing we can do. They're gone.
Half the colony's in there. They took Egan and Sam and Lilith. Do something!
I didn't want it to end this way. I did what I could.
More than most, Shepard.
Shepard? Wait. I know that name. Sure, I remember you. You're some type of big Alliance hero.
Commander Shepard, Captain of the Normandy, the first human Spectre, savior of the Citadel.
Hey, Ash.
You're in the presence of a god, Delan. Back from the dead.
All the good people we lost and you get left behind. Figures. Screw this. I'm done with you Alliance types.
I thought you were dead, Commander. We all did.
And yet that smirk she just gave us, kind of, to me, that was her saying, of course you're not dead. I should have known. So, it's kind of unfortunate. Because this is very much the exact same cutscene, regardless if this is Ashley or Kaidan. The only slight difference is dependent on whether or not you romance them. Like, you noticed how Ash shook my hand, right? If I was playing male Shepard and I had romanced her, she would have just straight up hugged me. And then the next line of dialogue, she would have included the phrase, I loved you. Kaidan would do the same thing if I had kept him around and romanced him for this cutscene. But other than that, that's basically it. This cutscene is essentially the same thing, except there's one little tiny bit of difference in the dialogue at the end of this cutscene, mainly from Ashley, compared to Kaidan. There's also the line about being an Alliance soldier being a little different. But other than that, it's basically the same cutscene. And I say it's unfortunate also because this cutscene is kind of one of those where it's like, it seems like either Ash or Kaidan is a little too much unwilling to actually see what's going on or listen. They're just so, like, I also don't like that there are certain options we can't say here. You know, like, they're like, why didn't you let me know? I can't be able to just be like, because I was incapable of doing so. You know, the part about me being just meat on a table with tubes, can't really let somebody know I'm still around in that kind of condition. You can somewhat say that, but yeah.
It's been too long, Ash. How have you been?
That's it? You show up after 2 years and act like nothing's happened? I would have followed you anywhere, Commander. I thought you were gone. You were more than our commander. Why didn't you try to contact me? Why didn't you let me know you were alive?
Excuse me. So, my ship there said that because instinctively she's happy to see Ash because she sees Ash, you know, because my Shepard was an only child. I'm also an only child personally. But I've always let's just say it's not like I've always wanted to be an only child. I've always wanted to be able to have a sibling, you know, to experience what it was like to have a sibling. The closest I can get is really close friends that I would consider as close as a sibling, but, you know. And my FemShep at this point would have seen Ash as her sister. And she would have been really happy to, you know, have seen her sister here, because this is the first time she has seen her since the Normandy was destroyed 2 years ago. So she, you know, wants to get to see her sister again, get to catch up. But Ash is getting very emotional and upset here, and it's gonna, you know. See, I prefer this one right here. I wasn't even conscious.
Not my choice. I spent the last 2 years in some kind of coma while Cerberus rebuilt me.
You're with Cerberus now? Garrus, too? I can't believe the reports were right.
Reports? You mean you already knew?
Alliance intel said Cerberus could be behind our missing colonies. We got a tip that this one could be the next to get hit. I went to Anderson, but he wouldn't talk. But there were rumors that you weren't dead. Worse, that you were working for the enemy.
Again, I don't like the fact that she doesn't acknowledge that I just told her I was in a coma for the last couple of years. She doesn't even acknowledge that. The moment I say Cerberus, that's all she focuses on. And it's like she didn't even hear the rest of that. And it becomes very frustrating for the player here, because you want to be like, why are you not listening to me? But it's this way with either character, and there's basically no way around it. There's no positive way for this conversation to go. Other than that, you just kind of part ways being upset at each other. Because Ash, or Kaidan, is upset about the whole you being associated with Cerberus right now, and Shepard being upset that their friend here is not listening, and not really is starting to wonder if Shepard is actually becoming loyal to this terrorist organization and such. And it's just, you don't want someone who you're close with to start thinking stuff like that about you. That's painful. That hurts.
Building the defense towers was just a cover story. The Alliance sent you here to investigate me, didn't they?
I was sent here to investigate Cerberus, not you. I wanted to believe you were alive. I just never expected anything like this. You've turned your back on everything we stood for.
Ash, you know me. You know I'd only do this for the right reason. You saw it yourself. The Collectors are targeting human colonies, and they're working with the Reapers.
I'd like to believe you, Shepard, but I don't trust Cerberus. And it worries me that you do. What did they do to you? What if they're behind it? What if they're the ones working with the Collectors?
Damn it, Williams. You're so focused on Cerberus that you're ignoring the real threat.
That's why part of the reason why I brought Zaid. I didn't want someone else saying that line. I wanted Garrus to be the one to say that, because no one else really says that. Miranda will be like, typical Alliance attitude. You're so focused on Cerberus. But Garrus, you notice that. He said, damn it, Williams. Because he knows Ash. You know? And I'd like to think that that was something that caught Ash's attention. That Garrus was addressing her directly that way. As another friend. You know, it's not just Shepard here who's Ash's friend. It's Garrus too. That's why she even said Garrus too. And Garrus will do the same thing, of course, if Kaidan is here. He'll be like, damn it, Kaidan. You know. But, yeah.
You're letting how you feel about their history get in the way of the facts.
Or maybe you feel like you owe Cerberus because they saved you. Maybe it's you. Doesn't matter. I still know where my loyalties lie. I'm an Alliance soldier. It's in my blood. I'm reporting back to the Citadel. I'll let them decide if they believe your story.
So yeah, that part about her saying it's in my blood, that's unique for Ash. Kaidan obviously doesn't say that. Now, Shepard is going to come away from this hurt. But at the same time, this is not like all of a sudden she now hates Ash. Shepard will view this as, how often do family have kind of arguments and fights like this? Where they part ways on vehement disagreements, but they don't stop caring about each other. They don't stop loving each other because of an argument. So, even though this hurts Shepard, the way Ash reacted to this, she still is going to care for Ash and hope that she'll come around. And that time will heal all wounds, as they say. You know.
I could use someone like you in my crew, Ash. It'll be just like old times.
No, it won't. I'm no fan of aliens, but Cerberus has a history of being extremist. I'll never work for a group like that. So long, Commander. Good luck.
See, a space racist wouldn't say that.
Joker, send the shuttle to pick us up. I've had enough of this colony.
And as far as her saying, I'm no fan of aliens, again, she has trust issues with them. And it's understandable. You know? Her not being fully trusting of aliens doesn't mean she's a racist. She's hesitant, she's cautious because she has a history with that. With them not you know, given what happened in her family history and her own personal history with some aliens, yeah, she's not going to be, like, fully trusting of them, and you shouldn't. As we go through this series and learn, not just because they're aliens doesn't mean let's fully trust them. No, that's not how it should be. But that doesn't make her a racist. As she said, she may not be a fan of aliens, but she would never work for an extremist organization that has a history of extremism against aliens like Cerberus. Further proving my point that Ashley is not a space racist. I'm going to keep hammering this point home the more we can, as we continue through this series. Collectors escaped with approximately 1/3 of Horizon's population. Front Corporation will funnel supplies, monetary aid to colonial survivors. Collector leader Harbinger demonstrates a personal interest in Shepard. Unclear whether his ability to possess his minions is cybernetic override, indication of hive mind among collectors, or even Reaper technology at work. Salvage teams captured collector bodies for study.
Shepard, good work on Horizon. Hopefully the Collectors will think twice before attacking another colony.
It's not a victory. We interrupted the Collectors, but they still abducted half the colony.
That's better than an entire colony, and more than we've accomplished since the abductions began. The Collectors will be more careful now, but I think we can find another way to lure them in.
Ash said the Alliance got a tip about me and Cerberus. Was that you?
I may have let it slip that you were alive, and with Cerberus.
You risked the lives of my friend, my crew, and that entire colony, just to lure the Collectors there?
A calculated risk. I suspected the Collectors were looking for you, or people connected to you. Now I know for certain. I told you I wouldn't sit and wait while the Reapers and Collectors gather strength. Besides, they would have hit another colony eventually, and without a way to predict which one, they would have abducted everyone.
As horrible as this might sound, I agree with him. I see his point here. It's horrible because of what happened, but at the same time, as he said, it was a calculated risk because there was no other way to be able to figure out or predict or, where the Collectors were going to strike next. So, giving them some kind of lure to send them to a spot that you're anticipating they'll go to, and then being able to actually catch them in the act with their hand in the cookie jar, so to speak, allowing you to be able to have the opportunity to either stop them or gain more information on them, is actually quite beneficial. And it's horrible, but it goes to a phrase that Gareth says in the next game, cold calculus. The calculus of this is a tactical move that we need to make. We're probably sacrificing some people in the process, but in the long run, it's going to be able to give us the opportunity to actually defeat them and stop them once and for all. Otherwise, they would just been able to just keep going without us being able to figure out a way on, how they are going about selecting colonies and such. So even though it's horrible, I don't blame him for making this move. It was actually a very smart tactical move, in my opinion. Even as horrible as that may sound.
We have to make sure they don't abduct anyone else.
I want the Collectors stopped for that very reason. That's why we're doing this, Shepard. I'm devoting all resources to finding a way through the Omega-4 relay. We have to hit them where they live. Your team will need to be strong, as will their resolve. There's no looking back. The same goes for you. Can I assume you've put your past relationships behind you?
None of your damn business.
If it affects the mission, better you should leave it behind. Shepard, once you find a way through the Omega-4 relay to the Collector homeworld, there's no guarantee you'll return. To have any hope of surviving, you and your entire team must be fully committed to this.
Let me worry about them. You just find us a way to the Collector homeworld.
I just want to be upfront about your odds. You'll need everyone at their best. I've forwarded 3 more dossiers. Keep building your team while I find a way through the relay. And be careful, Shepard. The Collectors will be watching you.
I guess we're really gonna do it. Hit the Omega-4 relay. Take the fight to the Collectors in person. Looking forward to the action. After seeing what those bastards did on Horizon, though, makes you think.
They're powerful, but we've got a few tricks for them. If anyone can stop them, we can.
No argument there, Commander. Horizon just made it hit home. What we're doing, what we're up against. Gonna go take care of a little unfinished business. I imagine everyone else is, too. Getting some closure, you know?
So now, we get the dossiers to go get Tally, the Justicar, Samara, and Thane Krios, the assassin. And of course, now other stuff pops up. The stuff about the Shadow Broker, Miranda's mission, Jacob's mission. Yeah. More biotic damage for the squad, which includes me. Shepard gets more health, yes please. Takes less damage from melee attacks, yes please. Ah, I can retrain my powers. I probably will do that, just to kind of respec. Just to redistribute my points.
Commander, you've received a new message at your private terminal.
Untitled. Error, invalid center name. Hey Shepard, I heard I have to thank you for getting out of purgatory. Sent a ship to round me up, but they didn't weapons check good enough. I'm gonna carve your name instead of mine into my next victim as thanks. Got anyone you need dead? You did take a shot at me, though, on my way out, so I have to kill you. You know how it goes. Dad taught me that you let anybody hurt you, they get ideas, so you make sure to send a message. Not like I'm sending now, though. See you around. The people who live here are coming back, and it's showtime. Look around for your name. I'll make sure you find it before I find you. Billy. Okay, then. From Robin Reeve. Commander, the Alliance soldier here gave me this contact information. I hope this reaches you. You said that you were trying to stop those collectors. They took my son and my brother. Have you found them? Do you know where they are? I know you're looking, but so many people are just gone. Every family lost someone. The children are the worst. Empty desks at the schools. Winter clothes that never got worn. Please, the Alliance isn't doing anything. Of course they're not. The Council isn't doing anything. Of course they're not. If you can find our people, I'm begging you to do something. Tell me something I can do. Tell me anything. From Cerberus Information Processing. We are aware that your old friend Liara Tassoni has been hunting for the Shadow Broker for several years. We wouldn't mind helping her in that hunt, given the broker's past work for the Collectors. We recently uncovered some information that might give Liara a lead on where to find the Shadow Broker's base of operations, but unfortunately she doesn't have much faith in Cerberus intel. If you would visit Ilium and pass it on to her as a gesture of goodwill, we'd appreciate it.
I saw the reports on Horizon, Commander. What you did was amazing. The report mentioned that Ashley Williams was there. How did that go?
It was good to see her.
That's good to hear. Anyway, how may I help you, Commander?
Is there anything I should know?
Operative Lawson would like to see you at her station on the crew deck. Operative Taylor would like to see you over in the armory. Anything else, Commander?
That'll be all.
I'll be here if you need anything.
I've got an appointment with Shaira in 3 months. I can't wait.
We're flying into the eye of the storm, and you're thinking about some Asari prostitute?
Hey, watch it. It's not like that at all. She's... You won't understand unless you meet her.
Yeah, she's not a prostitute, man.
Hey, Commander. It's, pretty crazy the people you can run into out here, huh? I mean, it was probably a setup or something, but it was still good to see Ash. Operations Chief Williams, wasn't it?
She moved on. I can't blame her.
She was frontline with you blowing up half the Citadel, and I'm the one who gets roped back into saving the galaxy? What, did somebody switch our files?
You're the force that pulls it all together, Joker.
Yeah, it sucks, I'll give you that.
I assume everything's going well up here?
This thing wants to fire me over a joke. Okay, I said I'd flash the AI core, but I was kidding. And we'd only lose a few systems. Nosy ones.
To clarify, human resources adjustments are not actually under my authority.
Then why? Why are you always picking on me?
My replies were intended to provoke, though not to cause distress. Your reactions are atypical of most humans. You are interesting.
She pushed your buttons to get a rise out of you. About time you were on the receiving end.
Yeah, great. I just got worked by the intercom.
It was not my intent to breed hostility, Mr. Moreau, but you did instigate our interaction.
Okay, but think of it this way. Shut up.
That's it for now.
See you, Commander.
I love that these two end up being a couple by the end of it. Okay. Well. When we come back, we will go around and talk to Jacob, Miranda, and then we have some places to go, some new places to go, including Ilium. Not necessarily to see Liara, but because I have some shopping to do. We, of course, will pay a visit to Liara as well. Plus, we have some dossiers. The one we are going to be putting off for some time, because I have something special planned for one of them. But we're going to have to hold off on that for some time. Stay tuned.